Welcome to English Couch. Today we're talking about something that stresses out
So many English learners writing emails at work. I'm Priya, and I'm here with Maya, who is going to be very honest about her email anxiety. Yes, very honest. So, Maya, tell us, what is the problem? When you sit down to write an email at work, what goes through your head?
Oh, Priya, it's terrible. I never know how formal to be. Should I start with hello, hi, good morning, dear sir or madam? And the ending. I write best regards for a quick question to my friend and hi when I'm asking the boss for something important. It's a mess. I spend more time worrying about the format than actually writing the content.
that's so relatable, and it's one of
The biggest problems we see in our students. What else worries you?
The formality level. I never know if I'm being too rude or too polite. What if I ask for information and the person thinks I'm demanding? Or what if I'm too polite and they think I'm weird? And then there's the whole thing about how to end. Do I say thanks or sincerely or what?
That's exactly what we're going to fix today. Because here's the thing, there is a system. Different situations need different levels of formality. And once you learn the structure, you're going to feel so much more confident. Really? I hope so. You will, I promise. Let's start with the easiest one, asking for information. Let's start with a really common situation. You need information from a colleague, maybe someone in another department. What would you normally write?
I think I would write something like, hi, I need to know when the meeting is tomorrow. Tell me, please. But I feel like it sounds rude.
Okay, that works, and the person would understand you, but it's a bit abrupt. It's like knocking on someone's door and immediately demanding something without saying hello. In English workplace culture, we're a little more gentle. Let me show you something. Better. For asking a colleague a question, here's the structure. First, your subject line. Make it clear and specific. Question about tomorrow's meeting. That's good.
Oh, the subject line matters?
Very much. The subject line is your first impression. It tells the person what the email is about. Now, the body of the email. You write, hi there. I hope this email finds you well. I had a question about tomorrow's meeting. Could you please let me know what time it starts? Thank you so much for your help.
Wow, that's very different from what I wrote.
Yes, let me break it down. First, hi there. Friendly and professional. Then, I hope this email finds you well. This is a classic English phrase. You use this almost every time in a formal or semi formal email.
So I
Say
say this.
this every time? Not with family or very close friends, but with colleagues? Absolutely. It sets a respectful, professional tone. Then you say, I had a question about. This introduces what you want. It's gentle. Then the key part. Could you please let me know what time it starts? Watch this phrase carefully. Could you please? This is how you ask for something without sounding demanding. Okay, so instead of tell me, I say, could you please let me know? Exactly. Could you, would you, can you? These are the polite question words in English. And when you add please, it becomes even nicer. And at the very end, thank you so much for your help. This shows appreciation. The person feels valued for taking the time to answer your question.
This is so much clearer when I see the structure.
Right. So the template is subject line, then greeting, then I hope this email finds you well, then your question with could you please, then thank you. That's the structure. Use it every time.
I'm going to remember this.
Now, another very common situation. You sent an email last week and nobody answered. You want to follow up. How do you do that without sounding angry or impatient?
Oh, this one makes me very nervous. What if I sound angry? What if the person thinks I'm being rude?
A follow up email is completely normal and professional. Actually, most people expect follow ups. And there's a magic phrase for this. Just following up on my previous email about. Just following up.
That's it?
That's the key phrase. It's neutral, it's polite, and it immediately tells the person what you're doing. Let me give you the full email. Hi there, just following up on my previous email about the project deadline. I haven't heard back yet, and I wanted to make sure you received it. Please let me know if you need any additional information from my side. Thank you for your time. So, with this, I don't sound rude at all? Not at all. You're simply reminding them in a kind way. The key words are just following up. When you use that phrase, everyone understands it's a friendly reminder, not a complaint.
What if they still don't answer after this email?
Then you wait, but the email itself is professional and kind. The phrases, please let me know if you need any additional information, or please let me know if you have any questions, these make the other person feel comfortable and supported, not pressured. And notice I said, thank you for your time. This is very nice. It respects the person's time and effort. People like that. Okay, so I can use just following up on my previous email every time, every single time. It's probably the most useful phrase for workplace emails. Now, the big one, replying to a client, someone outside your company who is important for business.
Oh, this one makes me very nervous. A client.
I know, but don't worry. Clients are just people. They're probably also a little nervous when they write to you. The structure is the same, but the formality level goes up a little bit. Here's an example. The client writes, "Hi, I'm interested in ordering 500 units of your product. When can you deliver? Also, what is the price per unit?"
Oh, that's a big order.
Yes, so your response needs to be professional and clear. Here's what you write. Dear Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for contacting us. We are very happy to receive your order inquiry for 500 units. I can confirm that we can deliver within 2 weeks. The price per unit is $45. Please let me know if you have any other questions about the timeline or pricing. Best regards, Maya Lopez.
Wait, you said Dear Mr. Johnson, but before you said Hi there. What's the difference?
Great question. This is about formality levels. Hi there, or just hi, is for colleagues you know, people you work with every day. But Dear Mr. Johnson is for people you don't know or for very formal situations. When you're writing to a client for the first time, you use dear. So dear means I don't know them yet. Exactly. As your relationship grows, you can change to hi or hello. But when you start, dear is safe and professional. Now, what about the ending? I said best regards. This is different from thanks that I used before. Yes, why is that? Because the beginning was formal, the end must also be formal. You cannot write Dear Mr. Johnson at the top and then end with cheers. That's confusing. The formality level must match from start to finish. So the rule is dear means best regards or sincerely. Hi or hello means thanks, best, or cheers. The tone must be consistent.
That makes sense.
And notice I said, we are very happy to receive your order inquiry. That's positive language. Clients want to feel appreciated. Then I gave clear information, delivery time, and pricing, and I ended with, please let me know if you have any other questions. This shows you care and are available.
You even included your full name?
Yes, always include your full name in client emails, especially the first time. It's professional and makes the communication feel complete. Okay, here's the hardest one. Saying no to someone at work. This is where so many people struggle.
Oh, I really don't know how to do this at all.
I usually just say I cannot, and then I feel bad. Most people feel the same way. They feel guilty, so they write something confusing or they avoid the email completely. But in English, we have a perfect phrase for this. Are you ready?
Yes, tell me.
I am afraid I won't be able to.
I am afraid? But I'm not scared. I'm just saying no.
I know, it's interesting, but I'm afraid is just the expression. It's what we use in English when we have bad news or when we cannot do something. I'm afraid I won't be able to come to the meeting tomorrow because I have another commitment. See, you start with that phrase, then you give a reason. It's polite, it's clear, and everyone understands.
So the person knows that I cannot do it?
Yes, absolutely. And because you use I'm afraid, it doesn't sound harsh or rude. It's like you're expressing regret. You wish you could, but you cannot. Let me give you another example with a solution. I'm afraid I won't be able to finish the report by Friday. Could we extend the deadline to next Monday instead? See how different that is? You say no, you explain why, and you offer a solution. People actually appreciate that more than you think.
They do?
They really do. Nobody wants someone to say yes and then do a bad job because they didn't have enough time. When you say no with a reason and a solution, you're being professional and honest. That's what companies want. And here's one more example. I'm afraid I cannot take on this new project right now because I'm working on the deadline for the current project. Could we revisit this next month? See the pattern? No, reason, and next step.
This is making me feel so much better about saying no.
You should. Saying no politely is a skill, and you're learning it right now. Let's do a quick review of all the phrases. These are your gold standard English workplace email phrases.
Yes, I'm ready.
Number 1, opening a polite email. I hope this email finds you well. Say it back to me.
I hope this email finds you well.
Perfect. Number 2, asking a question politely. Could you please let me know, or would you be able to tell me?
Could you please let me know, or would you be able to tell me?
Great. Number 3, following up on a previous email. Just following up on my previous email about. Just
Following up on my previous email?
about. Excellent. Number 4, ending with an open door. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you have any questions. Number 5, saying no gently. I'm afraid I won't be able to. I am afraid I won't be able to. And finally, the closings. Best regards, sincerely for formal, thanks or best for friends and regular colleagues. That's so many useful phrases. And you've learned the system. You know now when to be formal, how to ask politely, how to follow up, how to say no. That's the complete picture. The biggest thing to remember is just this. Take a moment, think about who you're writing to, use these phrases. Your emails are going to be great. I'm definitely going to practice this. Thank you for listening to English Couch. Keep practicing these phrases, and remember, every email you write is practice. You're going to improve so much.